Ross Martin was born Martin Rosenblatt on March 22, 1920 in Grodno, a city that was then part of Poland, but is now within the borders of Belarus. While his place of birth was often noted as Grodno due to historical transitions and shifting borders, much of his early life was shaped by his family's eventual decision to emigrate to the United States in search of better opportunities. Ross Martin settled with his family in New York City as a young boy. Surrounded by the bustling energy of the city, he quickly displayed remarkable intellect and talent in a variety of fields. In addition to becoming fluent in several languages, he proved himself to be a gifted musician able to play the violin and the piano with considerable virtuosity. This combination of linguistic prowess and musical ability would later serve him well in show business, allowing him to convincingly adopt numerous dialects and accents. Despite his passion for the arts, Ross Martin pursued a traditional academic path in his early years. He graduated from high school at a young age and went on to study at institutions that led him toward a legal career. In fact, he earned a law degree and was admitted to the bar. Yet the pull of performance and artistic endeavor was simply too strong to ignore for long. He ultimately chose to abandon the steadiness of law in favor of becoming an actor. That decision would define the trajectory of his life, underscoring his belief in creativity and entertainment. Ross Martin embarked on his acting career by taking roles in radio and on stage. He eventually branched out into television and film, discovering that his quick-wit, comedic instincts and aptitude for character work set him apart. One of his early breakthroughs occurred in the 1950s when he began to land roles in various television series. Though he did not always appear as a leading player, his capacity to inhabit different personalities on screen quickly caught the attention of industry professionals. He brought an imaginative flair to each performance, showing a remarkable ability to shift seamlessly between comedic and dramatic material. One of Martin's key breaks arrived when he was cast as Andemo in the television series Mr. Lucky, which ran from 1959 to 1960. The show revolved around a professional gambler and casino owner known as Mr. Lucky, and Martin portrayed his close friend and associate. Though the series lasted only a year, it introduced Martin to a wider television audience. He earned a reputation as a versatile performer, recognized for his ebullient on-screen presence and comedic timing. His most iconic role would arrive a few years later. In 1965, Martin was cast as Artemis Gordon in The Wild Wild West, a CBS television series that fused elements of the Western spy and adventure genres in a playful manner. Starring alongside Robert Conrad, who portrayed James T. West, Martin became equally essential to the show. More than merely a sidekick, Artemis Gordon was a master of disguise, an inventor, and a brilliant foil to the physical bravado of James West. The series was set in the late 19th century and chronicled the exploits of two Secret Service agents as they protected the interests of the United States under President Ulysses S. Grant. Ross Martin possessed a genuine gift for comedic transformation, creating a memorable gallery of characters and disguises. Week after week, he charmed viewers by adopting different accents, facial hair, and costumes. In addition to comedic flourishes, Martin at times brought a dramatic gravitas that made his interpretations feel credible rather than purely campy. The show's success owed much to his imaginative portrayal of Artemis Gordon. Fans tuned in, eager to see what surprising turn he would take next. However, Martin faced a significant health challenge during the run of The Wild Wild West. In 1968, he suffered a heart attack that forced him to step away from production for a time. While the producers introduced temporary replacements to fill his absence, they also made efforts to bring him back as soon as he was well enough. Martin eventually returned to the show, delighting fans who had been anxiously awaiting the reappearance of his beloved character. The series concluded in 1969 after 4 seasons, but it would remain a cult favorite for decades. Throughout the 1970s, Ross Martin continued to make his mark on television. He made guest appearances in numerous programs that showcased his range from comedies to dramas to voice roles. He lent his voice to the animated series Celeb 2020 in 1972, providing the voice of Dr. Paul Williams. Martin's vocal control, along with his talent for playing characters of different backgrounds and personalities, made him a much sought-after figure in voice acting as well. During this period, he also popped up on shows like Night Gallery, The Twilight Zone, Columbo, The Love Boat, Hawaii Five-0, and even Emma S.H. Whether playing a villain, a detective, or a comedic foil, he brought to each role a strong sense of professionalism and authenticity. In film, Ross Martin also delivered memorable performances. One of his most notable movie roles was in the thriller Experiment in Terror, released in 1962 and directed by Blake Edwards. Martin took on the part of Garland, Red Lynch, a criminal who terrorizes the female protagonist played by Lee Remick. The role highlighted Martin's ability to play menacing or psychologically complex characters. He could leave an indelible impression whether equipped with comedic or dramatic material. Ross Martin's personal life was marked by his devotion to his family. He was married twice, first to Muriel Weiss, with whom he had a child. After her death, he married Olivia Lucille Parsons in 1967, and that marriage lasted until his own passing in 1981. Friends and colleagues described Ross Martin as kind, deeply intelligent, and dedicated. He took his work seriously, but sought to infuse a sense of joy and camaraderie into the set wherever possible. Given that he was multilingual and had an abiding passion for education, he frequently learned new dialects or studied the cultural background of characters he portrayed. In July of 1981, Ross Martin was playing tennis in Ramona, California, when he suffered a fatal heart attack. He passed away on July 3, 1981, at the age of 61, depriving the entertainment world of a truly singular talent. His legacy continued through reruns of The Wild Wild West and the wave of nostalgia that accompanied the shows. Revival in syndicated broadcasts. Subsequent generations discovered his work and appreciated the skill with which he could slip into myriad roles, all imbued with the sort of zest and wit that set him apart. Below is a filmography that spans many of Ross Martin's appearances in film and television. While exhaustive, documentation of every single appearance can be challenging. These comprise key credits and notable performances that highlight his career. Filmography: Conquest of Space 1955 as S.G. Tiamoto. The Colossus of New York 1958 as Dr. John Robert Carrington, uncredited. Underwater Warrior 1958 as L.T. Sokol. The Great Race 1965 as Baron Rolf von Stupp. Experiment in Terror 1962 as Garland Red Lynch. Dead Heat on a Merry-Go-Round 1966 as Miles Fisher. Geronimo 1962 as Mangas. The Ceremony 1963 as O'Brien. Appeared in various additional minor film roles and cameos, including shorts and uncredited appearances throughout the 1950s and 1960s. Television: Mr. Lucky 1959 to 1960 as Animo. The Wild Wild West 1965 to 1969 as Artemis Gordon. The Twilight Zone, various episodes in the 1960s, guest appearances. The Rebel 1960 guest appearance. Maverick 1961 guest appearance. The Man from You. Then CLE 1964 guest appearance. The Fugitive 1966 guest appearance. The Immortal 1970 guest appearance. Night Gallery 1971 guest appearance. Celeb 2020 1972 voice of Dr. Paul Williams. Columbo 1975 guest appearance. Hawaii 5-0 1976 guest appearance. The Love Boat late 1970s guest appearances. Fantasy Island late 1970s guest appearance. Switch 1977 guest appearance. Emma S.H. 1977 guest appearance. Lou Grant 1979 guest appearance. The Wild Wild West revisited 1979 TV movie reprising Artemis Gordon. More Wild Wild West 1980 TV movie reprising Artemis Gordon. The Dukes of Hazzard 1981 guest appearance. Also participated in various anthology programs and one-off television specials. Ross Martin's impact on the entertainment industry should not be underestimated. The Wild Wild West stands as the clearest testament to his creativity and resourcefulness, yet his resume goes far beyond that notable credit. His mastery of dialect, character transformation, and comedic timing distinguished him for decades. Observers often remarked that he seemed just as comfortable undertaking a serious villainous role as he did playing a goofball who provided comic relief. He remained active up until his death, taking on new roles in television and films that showcased his capacity to adapt to changing audiences and tastes. Whether as a featured guest star or a leading player, Ross Martin approached his craft with the same enthusiasm, wit, and dignified intelligence that had guided him throughout his life. While he may be best remembered for bringing Artemis Gordon to life in a fusion of Western steampunk and spy adventure, his entire body of work underscores a rare combination of dramatic ability, comedic skill, and scholarly passion. He left behind a legacy that resonates with fans of classic television, connoisseurs of character acting, and anyone who appreciates the artistry that results from exceptional dedication to performance. His ability to entertain while also lending depth to his roles helped shape the television landscape of the 1960s and 1970s. Even long after his passing, Ross Martin's achievements continue to resonate, reminding viewers of a man whose deft balance of charm and gravitas was as timeless as it was captivating.